I thought everything was perfect. Christmas lights twinkled across the city skyline, and Emily was bustling around the apartment like she owned the holiday. "Honey, can you grab a champagne from the fridge?" she called, her heels clicking against the marble floor. "Sure," I replied, smiling. Watching her move with that confident, commanding energy always made my chest swell. She had this aura, CEO, powerhouse, brilliant, but somehow she made it all feel intimate, like it was just for me. When I returned, she was holding two wrapped gifts. "Here, for you," she said, eyes sparkling. "Open it now." I tore the paper eagerly. A sleek watch, exactly the one I mentioned last month. "You remembered," I said. "Of course," she teased. "I always remember." That night, I couldn't shake a feeling, though. It was subtle at first, a flicker in my mind I tried to ignore. Marcus had called earlier, joking about my Christmas glow. "Something bothering you, man?" he asked. "Nothing," I lied. "Just the holiday chaos." He didn't sound convinced. "Okay, if you say so." Then there was Lena, my assistant, stopping me in the office hallway. "Sir, can I speak to you?" "What's up?" I asked, try to sound normal. "I don't mean to pry, but Emily's been secretive lately. I've seen her leave your apartment late at night, and she's been unusually protective of her phone." I laughed it off, but my stomach twisted. "Protective?" "She's always been intense about privacy." "Yes, but..." Her voice trailed. I didn't want to hear it. I walked away, forcing myself to focus on the Christmas party I was supposed to enjoy with her. Later, alone in our suite, I picked up her phone by accident. It slipped from the couch cushions. The screen lit up, and there it was, a string of messages between Emily and someone named Daniel. Casual at first, friendly, then more intimate. My pulse raced. No, this can't be real," I muttered, scrolling faster. I remember our last dinner. Had she been looking at me like that, but thinking of someone else? "Emily," I yelled, my voice shaking. She came running from a bedroom, her perfectly styled hair slightly messy. "What's wrong?" she asked, eyes wide. "Who is Daniel?" My voice was harsh, trembling. "Why are you texting him like this?" She blinked, calm. Too calm. "Daniel? Oh, that. It's nothing, just business." "Nothing." I felt my chest tighten. "These aren't business texts. These are personal. You're cheating on me." Emily tilted her head, smirk playing on her lips. "Cheating? You really think I would ruin everything over some silly fling? Please. Money fixes everything, you know that." "No." I whispered, disbelief flooding me. "No, it doesn't." She laughed softly. "Sweetheart, don't be dramatic. I'm telling you, it's not what you think. Stop worrying. Focus on Christmas, the gifts, the parties. Everything's fine." "Fine." My hand shook. "Do you even realize what you've done?" She reached out, lightly touching my arm. "I know exactly what I've done, and it's none of your business. Trust me, relax. Enjoy your life." I backed away, anger and sorrow colliding. "I can't just relax. You promised me everything." "And I delivered," she said smoothly. "But you're reading into it. Always reading into it. That's your problem, not mine." I stared at her, lost, heart pounding. The Christmas lights outside reflected in her eyes, but now, instead of warmth, I saw calculation. I swallowed hard, trying to steady my voice. "Emily, if this is true, I don't know if we can." "Relax," she interrupted, cutting me off. "Christmas is for joy, not drama. Money can fix things. That's all you need to know." I turned away, chest tight, stomach churning. The perfect life I thought I had shattered. I couldn't sleep. My eyes traced the ceiling, imagining Emily's smile, her hands, her voice. But now every memory felt poisoned. I muttered to myself, how did I not see it? The betrayal cut deeper than I'd imagined. My phone buzzed. "Marcus." I answered immediately. "Hey, you up?" "Yeah, man. You sound like hell." His voice was sharp, concerned. "You're overthinking again?" "Overthinking." I laughed bitterly. "Marcus, she's cheating on me. On Christmas week, no less." Silence. "Then I'm sorry, man." "You sure?" "I saw it. Texts, photos, everything. I can't get it out of my head." "You thinking of confronting her?" "I tried. She laughed at me. Told me money fixes everything." I swallowed hard. "I feel sick." Deep breaths. "Don't let her see you crumble. That's exactly what she wants." I hung up, pacing. Every corner of our apartment reminded me of her. I should have known, I whispered, touching the ornament we bought together. All those late nights, her smiles, it was all fake. At work, I watched her from my office window. Emily moved like nothing happened, brilliant and poised. But she avoided my eyes when I walked past. Pretending everything's normal, I muttered, fists clenching. Does she even feel guilty? Then Richard appeared. Emily's rival, always sharp, always smirking. Rough morning, I see, he said, leaning against the doorway. What do you want? I snapped. Nothing personal, he replied, voice smooth. Just curious. You know, in business, betrayal can be strategic. People get what they deserve. I felt a surge of anger. You're enjoying this. Not all, he shrugged. Just stating a fact. I turned away, chest tight, mind racing. That night, I tried again at home. Emily was in the kitchen, casually pouring wine. We need to talk, I said, voice low. She looked at me, calm, serene. About what? Don't play dumb. About Daniel. About what you're doing to us. She smiled, faint, almost cruel. Daniel again? You're obsessed. I told you it's nothing. Nothing, I shouted, stepping closer. Do you hear yourself? You're lying to my face. I'm not lying, she said evenly. You're overreacting. I've always told you, don't let paranoia ruin our life. Paranoia? I laughed bitterly. Emily, I caught everything. You think I'm imagining texts, photos, his visits. Her gaze didn't waver. Stop. Calm down. You're embarrassing yourself. Embarrassing myself? I grabbed a chair, slammed it against the table. No, you embarrassed me. You shattered everything. She sighed, turning away. It's your choice. You can stay miserable, or you can move on. Money makes it simple. I backed off, shaking. My mind replayed every moment we shared, dissecting every smile, every word. Was I blind? Was I too trusting? Marcus called again. Talk to me, man. What's your plan? I don't know. Leave? Confront publicly? Plot revenge? I laugh hollowly. Everything feels wrong. Then don't rush. Observe. Let them make mistakes. You have the upper hand if you play it smart. His words sank in. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. You're right. I can't let her ruin me. Not now. Not ever. I sat in silence, listening to the hum of the apartment. Emily's laughter from the other room echoed, casual, like nothing mattered. My hand shook, but my resolve grew. She thinks I'm broken, I whispered. But she's about to learn I'm not. Not even close. Later, I confronted Emily one last time that night. You know what? I'm done begging for the truth. She raised an eyebrow, sipping her wine. Done? Good. Focus on enjoying Christmas. Stop sulking. Money solves problems, darling. You should try it sometime. I stared at her, fury mixed with disbelief. I won't let you win. Not this time. Not ever. She shrugged, casual, smug. We'll see. As I retreated to my room, my thoughts were loud, chaotic, and relentless. Every memory twisted with betrayal. But beneath the hurt, something hard and sharp took root. I wouldn't crumble. I would survive. I would watch her fall. And for the first time, I realized I would be the one in control. I decided to keep calm. If Emily thought I was broken, she was wrong. I had to play normal, collected like nothing was wrong. Marcus called that morning. Morning, man. You sound different, he said. Different? I asked, pouring coffee. Yeah, quieter. Calculated. You actually sound like you're thinking clearly. I smirked. I am. I can't show her what I feel. Not now. Not ever. Good. Keep it that way. Observe. Gather intel. Don't make a scene. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. I know. I'll be patient. I'll watch. That afternoon, I noticed Emily's subtle lies. Where are you going? I asked as she grabbed her coat. Just a quick meeting, she said, tossing her hair. Again, I raised an eyebrow. Your schedule looked full. She laughed lightly. It's work, nothing else. Her smile didn't convince me. I followed her discreetly, noting who she met, where she lingered, the way her phone buzzed constantly. Daniel's name appeared in fleeting notifications. My stomach twisted. Later, Alice called. My younger sister had always been blunt. Don't let anger consume you, she said, her voice firm. You can't make rational decisions while burning inside. Watch, but don't act impulsively. I know, I muttered. I'm trying. But every time I see her, it's like I'm suffocating. Then breathe. Take notes. Stay ahead. You're better than letting her ruin your mind. Her words lingered. I realized she was right. I couldn't fall apart. I had to control the situation. That evening, the corporate Christmas party began. Emily moved through the crowd like a queen, laughing, shaking hands. I stayed close, quiet, observing. Emily, I called softly when she passed, catching her attention. Darling, you came, she said, smiling. I smiled faintly. Wouldn't miss it. I watched her from across the room. Daniel appeared, and my heart sank. They laughed together, leaning too close, the type of laughter that made my blood boil. I clenched my fist discreetly. Are you okay? Marcus whispered as he noticed my tension. Fine, I said, forcing a smile. Just watching. I followed them subtly, noticing every touch, every whispered joke. My mind oscillated between rage and cold planning. So this is how it's been, I muttered under my breath. All this time, and I let it slip by. Emily caught my gaze. Her smile faltered slightly, just for a second. I held my composure. No reaction. She had to think I didn't see. Later, she approached me. You've been quiet tonight, she said, brushing her hair behind her ear. Just soaking in the atmosphere, I replied lightly. The decorations are nice. Her eyes narrowed, suspicious. You're hiding something. I shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just enjoying Christmas like you suggested. She laughed softly. I hope you mean that. It's supposed to be a happy night. I nodded. Yes, very happy. After she walked away, I leaned closer to Marcus. She's too comfortable, too bold. Then let her be bold, he said. We'll see who falters first. Just stay calm, collect evidence, and wait. I exhaled slowly. Patience. That's the key. I can't let her know how much it hurts. Not yet. I need control. The night dragged on. I kept watch, quiet, unnoticed. Daniel's every gesture, Emily's every laugh, became fuel for the plan forming in my mind. I scribbled mental notes, strategies, timing. When the party ended, I walked home beside Emily. She chatted lightly, oblivious to the storm inside me. You're unusually quiet tonight, she said. Just thinking about the year, I replied, voice steady. Reflecting. Planning for next year. Her eyes flickered with curiosity. Planning? For what? Life, I said simply. Making sure it goes the way I want. She smiled, unaware of how true that was, and how she was now a part of my calculations. Back at home, I sat alone in the living room, staring at the decorations. I felt the cold edge of resolve settle in my chest. She was bold, careless, but I wasn't naive anymore. I would watch. I would wait. And when the time came, I would act. For now, silence was my weapon. Calculated, precise. And it was working. I couldn't stop thinking. Every text, every smile, every lie replayed in my mind. I called Marcus. I need help, I said, voice low. You're serious, huh? He asked. You want to dig deeper? I have to know. I can't just sit here and pretend. All right, he said slowly. Be careful. You don't want to tip your hand. I nodded, though he couldn't see me. I won't. I just need to see the full picture. The next day, I hired a private investigator. I told him quietly, discreet. No one can know. I want everything. Texts, photos, schedules. Even small meetings. He nodded. Understood. I'll start immediately. While waiting, I kept my eyes open at work. Emily was flawless as always, but Daniel appeared more often than before, subtle glances, fleeting smiles. I felt bile rise in my throat. Lena stopped me in the hallway. Sir, I saw Emily leaving late again. Her phone is always with her now. She's careful. I force calm. I know. That's why we watch. Don't say anything to anyone. Not even Marcus. Understood. Later, I intercepted a text by accident. Daniel's name flashed. Dinner tonight? Emily replied with a smiley face emoji. I crushed my fist. I called Marcus immediately. It's happening again. Dinner. Late. She's hiding everything. Stay calm, he said. Observe, don't react. You'll have your evidence soon. I couldn't help staring at a Christmas ornament on the table. The one I gave her last year, hand-painted. I remembered hanging it together, laughing. I swallowed hard. We used to be happy, I whispered. Was I blind? Marcus interrupted my thoughts. You're slipping into the past. Focus on strategy. Evidence first, emotions later. You're right, I said, forcing my voice steady. Evidence first. At night, I watched her through the window. Daniel arrived in a black car. Emily greeted him casually, too casually. My chest tightened. I thought of confrontation, of yelling, of exposing everything. But Lena's words from earlier echoed. You need control. Don't act impulsively. I dialed her number. Lena, how are things? All quiet, sir. But Emily is careful. Very careful. I need updates. Every detail. Don't miss a thing. Yes, sir. I hung up pacing. My mind raced between morality and rage. Should I confront them now, ruin everything immediately, or let karma handle it? Marcus called again. Patience. Karma is slow, but it's precise. You'll have the upper hand. Wait for the right moment. I nodded to the empty room. I can't just wait. I need proof. Every single piece. Over the next days, messages, emails, and fleeting encounters poured in. Each one made my heart hurt, but each also strengthened my resolve. I was no longer just hurt. I was calculating, planning, gathering. Emily walked past, holding Daniel's name in her phone. I didn't speak. I just watched, notebook in hand, jotting down mental notes. Sir, Lena's voice broke my focus. She left the office without her coat. Strange for this weather. Good. Observe. Record everything. Don't miss a beat. Later, I picked up a gift I had given her months ago, a bracelet. I traced my fingers over it. We were happy once, I whispered. Before all this, I set it down hard. Marcus's voice came to mind. Strategy first. Emotions later. I exhaled, calming the tightness in my chest. My plan was taking shape. Evidence. Timing. Control. I would not act out of rage. I would act with precision. Emily thought she was untouchable. That night, as I watched her laugh with friends, I realized something. I wasn't broken anymore. I wasn't a naive husband. I was patient. I was prepared. And soon, everything she thought she could hide would be revealed. Because this time, I would be the one in control. I couldn't wait any longer. I needed answers, closure, or at least control. I found Emily in our living room, sipping wine as if nothing had happened. Emily, we need to talk, I said, voice steady, though my hands shook slightly. She looked up casually. About what? Work? Christmas. About Daniel, I said sharply. About the affair. Stop pretending you're innocent. Her eyes flickered, but she recovered quickly. Affair? You're imagining things. I slammed the messages, photos, and notes on the table. Imagine this. Look at these. Every single one. You think I won't see? She raised an eyebrow. Honey, those are just texts. People flirt all the time. You're overreacting. Flirt, I shouted. Dinner dates, hotel messages, late-night calls. How is that flirting? Emily, answer me. Her lips curved into a faint smile. Look, money makes life easy. If he gives me attention, so what? You have everything, but I need more. Isn't that fair? I froze. More? You call betrayal fair? You destroy trust, and you call it fair? She shrugged, calm, almost smug. I know exactly what I'm doing. You should focus on enjoying life, like I told you before. Drama doesn't suit you. I'm not enjoying this, I said quietly, trying to control the fury rising in me. I trusted you. I built a life with you. And you ruined it for what? Attention? Status. She sipped her wine again. Don't act like you don't understand ambition. People want what they want. You gave me a life. Now I'm taking what I need. I felt bile rise, but I held my voice steady. I will not stoop to insults. I will not fight petty battles. But I will not let this go unnoticed. You made mistakes, Emily. Big ones. At that moment, Victoria appeared at the doorway, her heels clicking. Emily, the board needs you for the last meeting of the day, she said, eyes narrowing slightly at me. Of course, Emily replied, smoothing her dress. I'll be right there. Victoria's gaze lingered on me, curious. Everything okay here? Yes, Emily said quickly. Just discussing plans. Victoria nodded slowly, a faint smirk on her lips. I could see her ambition, always watching, always calculating. She would complicate things, I knew, siding with Emily to maintain her own advantage. Once they left, I leaned against the wall, trying to steady my breathing. I can't believe she's still so calm, I muttered. Marcus called that evening. What happened? Did you confront her? Yes. She lied. She justified it with money and status. Said I should be happy with what I have. Classic, he said. But did you see the opening? Opening? I asked, voice tight. Yes. Her arrogance. She thinks she's untouchable. That's your leverage. Don't act impulsively. Let her make the next mistake. I thought of the messages, the dinners, the laughter I'd seen at the party. The betrayal felt like fire in my chest. Yet Marcus was right. Her pride was her weakness. The next day at work, Emily misstepped. She ignored an important email from a client, and Victoria had to cover for her. I watched from my office window as the small chaos unfolded, a faint thrill running through me. She's overconfident, I whispered to Lena later. She thinks she's untouchable, but she isn't. She never is, Lena replied, eyes sharp. Watch carefully. One slip is all you need. I thought of that Christmas ornament on my desk, the one I had given Emily. It used to symbolize joy and love. Now, it was a reminder of everything lost, everything broken, but also everything I could reclaim. Later, I confronted Emily again carefully. You made a misstep, I said softly. And I noticed. You think you're above consequences. She laughed lightly. I'm not worried. You're imagining things. Everything's fine. Everything isn't fine, I said, calm but firm. But your arrogance, it's giving me a way in. A way to take control. Don't forget that. She frowned, confused, but didn't respond. I could feel the power shifting. Not completely yet, but enough to make her hesitate, even for a moment. As I left the office that night, I whispered to myself, this isn't over. She may think she's winning, but the game has just begun. And soon, she'll see that I'm not broken. I'm calculating, and I will have my control. I stared at the city skyline from my office window, taking a deep breath. It was time to reclaim control, my life, my business, my dignity. I called Marcus immediately. Morning, Marcus, I said, voice firm. Good morning, he replied cautiously. You sound in charge. I am, I said, smiling faintly. I've had enough of feeling helpless. I'm taking the reins back, starting today. Good, he said. Where do we start? Emily, I replied coldly. Her arrogance is her weakness. I'll begin there. Subtle pressure, careful moves. Later, I spoke to Alice. I can't let anger control me, I said. I need strategy. Exactly, she replied. Patience and planning. You're smarter than letting emotions ruin this. You'll see her slip if you stay ahead. I nodded, determination burning in me. First, I focused on business. Emily's position gave her authority, but subtle mistakes began surfacing. She mismanaged client emails, misallocated resources, and her team quietly whispered concerns. I noticed everything. She's overconfident, I told Marcus during our meeting. Her arrogance blinds her. Then we wait, he said. Every misstep she makes is an opportunity. Don't interfere yet. I nodded, agreeing. Every small failure was a chance to regain control. I made strategic investments, strengthened social connections, and attended high-profile events, carefully showcasing my competence without showing Emily my hand. People notice, Marcus said one night over call. Your confidence, your poise. You're reclaiming respect fast. I know, I said, and it feels satisfying. At home, I confronted Daniel indirectly. I saw him at the gym, glancing nervously when I walked in. Daniel, I said casually. Busy schedule? Yeah, he replied, shifting uneasily. Just working out. Funny, I said with a faint smile. Emily didn't mention you here. Strange, isn't it? He avoided my gaze. I didn't think it mattered. It matters, I said quietly, letting the weight of my observation settle. She's not trustworthy, Daniel. Not for you. Not for anyone. He hesitated, a flicker of doubt crossing his face. Maybe I overestimated things. Exactly, I said, leaving it there. Let him stew. Let him question her. Back at work, subtle sabotage continued. Victoria tried to support Emily, but her efforts only highlighted Emily's growing mistakes. I watched silently, noting every misstep, every expression of frustration on Emily's face. She's unraveling, I whispered to Lena quietly. Every misstep, every oversight, it's happening exactly as I expected. Careful, sir, Lena said. Don't let her see satisfaction in your eyes. I won't, I said firmly. Patience, strategy, control. That's my game now. Emily tried to assert dominance at a client meeting, but she hesitated, forgetting key details. Her team exchanged anxious glances. I noted it all, every flinch, every weak answer. Later, Alice met me for coffee. You're different now, she said. Calm, collected, decisive. You've learned from the past. I have, I said, and I feel powerful, even with the pain. This is control, not revenge. She smiled. Exactly. You're building yourself while she's crumbling. Keep that focus. At home, I noticed the ornaments we had hung together last Christmas. They reflected in the window, glittering faintly. I touched one lightly, remembering happier times. Everything has a purpose now, I whispered. Even this heartbreak. It's shaping me. I continued documenting every interaction, every business move, every subtle misstep from Emily. My network strengthened. Friends and colleagues began seeking my advice. Respect returned, quietly but noticeably. Marcus called that night. You've come a long way, man. She's no longer untouchable. You've shifted the power. I know, I said, and it feels right. Not just winning, it's about taking back my life. Daniel called me unexpectedly. I'm rethinking things, he said, voice hesitant. Maybe Emily isn't reliable. I told you, I said simply. Think carefully about who you trust. Some people wear masks. He fell silent, the doubt evident. I hung up, feeling a sharp satisfaction. The pieces were falling into place. Emily's confidence began cracking. She argued with Victoria, made poor decisions, and overlooked details. I observed without interference, letting the consequences unfold naturally. That evening, alone in my apartment, I smiled faintly at the city lights. My pain was still there, a quiet ache, but beneath it lay strength, clarity, and control. Emily thought she held all the power. She didn't see me watching, calculating, ready. And soon, she'd realized that the life she tried to manipulate was mine to command again. I leaned back, letting the silence settle. Control was mine. Power was mine. And for the first time in weeks, I felt truly unstoppable. I watched Emily from across the boardroom, the air thick with tension. Her usual confident smile faltered slightly as she presented her quarterly report. Marcus leaned toward me quietly. She's slipping, he whispered. See how her hand shakes when she talks about numbers? I see it. I replied softly, sipping my coffee. Every detail matters. Don't interfere yet. Emily glanced at me, sensing my presence. Her eyes flickered with something. Regret? Fear? I couldn't be sure. Later, Daniel walked past me in the office hallway. His usual arrogance was gone, replaced with unease. Hey, he said awkwardly. Listen, I misjudged things. You mean Emily? I asked, voice calm. He hesitated. Yeah, I thought. I don't know. I thought she was different. People wear masks, Daniel, I said lightly. Some are skilled at it. You learn the truth eventually. He nodded, clearly humbled. I guess I have a lot to rethink. Exactly, I said quietly, letting him absorb it. Back at home, I walked past the Christmas tree. The ornaments Emily had chosen glimmered softly in the light. I picked up a small hand-painted one she loved. It used to symbolize love, but now it felt like a reminder of deception. I placed it gently in a box. Marcus called. Removing her ornaments? He asked, amusement in his voice. Yes, I said. Symbolic. Closing a chapter. Good. Mental clarity is key. At work, Emily made another misstep. She ignored an important client's request, and Victoria had to cover for her. I watched silently as her credibility wavered. Colleagues whispered, and her confident demeanor cracked. She's losing control, Lena said quietly beside me. You're doing well, staying composed. I have to, I replied. I can't let old anger dictate my actions. I need precision, not revenge. That evening, Emily confronted me at home. You've been watching me again, she said, voice tight. I've observed, I said calmly. And I've noticed your mistakes. Everyone sees them now. She flushed, frustration evident. You think this is satisfying for you? No, I said, letting the words settle. But it's necessary. You needed to face consequences. I didn't cause them. You did. Her gaze softened for a moment, fleeting, almost human. I didn't think it would come to this, she whispered. I nodded, composed. And that's the point. Actions have outcomes, Emily. Some you cannot control. The next day, Daniel faced public embarrassment. A client exposed a mishandled deal linked to Emily's oversight. I saw the humiliation on his face, a mix of regret and disbelief. I felt a twinge of sympathy, quickly replaced by detached satisfaction. Marcus called later. Everything unfolding as expected? Yes, I said, slowly, deliberately. She's losing ground while I reclaim my life. I started reconnecting with my own world. Friends I had neglected called. Alice invited me to a small gallery opening. I laughed, genuinely, for the first time in weeks. You're different, Alice said. Stronger, clearer. I am, I admitted. I realized I don't need her to define me. I don't need her validation. My happiness isn't tied to her anymore. That night, Emily tried to speak. I'm sorry, she murmured. Sorry isn't enough, I said quietly. Actions have consequences, Emily. You'll have to live with them. She looked at me, eyes watery, but I remained composed. I see that now, she whispered. I walked past her, past the tree, past the ornaments I had boxed. Each step felt lighter, as if a weight I hadn't noticed was lifting. At work, I continued strategic decisions, investments, client outreach, subtle social positioning. My reputation strengthened while Emily's faltered. Victoria tried to intervene, but her attempts only highlighted Emily's mistakes further. During a brief encounter in the hallway, Emily said, You're thriving without me. I looked at her calmly. I've always been capable. You just chose to test that. Her lips trembled. I didn't know it would hurt this much. Then take note, I said softly. Choices have consequences. Some are unavoidable. I spent the evening reviewing documents, planning my next steps. Marcus called. You've transformed. From hurt and reactive to composed and strategic. Impressive. I feel it, I said. Even the pain has value. It's teaching me control, focus, and self-reliance. Later, alone, I unpacked the ornaments I had boxed. I placed them carefully in a drawer. Not out of spite, but to reclaim my space, my memories, my control. Emily watched silently from the doorway. You're different, she said. I am, I said, voice steady. And so is life now. You can't manipulate it or me anymore. This is closure. She didn't respond. I didn't need her to. Silence, for the first time, felt complete and powerful. As I sat back, sipping my drink, I reflected on the journey. Daniel humbled, Emily faltering, my friend supportive, my confidence rebuilt. I realized I had found something stronger than revenge. Control, self-respect, and peace. Not happiness yet, I whispered to myself, but the foundation for it. And this time, I will build it my way. The ornaments, the reports, the careful observations, all reminders of lessons learned. I had reclaimed my life. The power was mine, quietly, undeniably, and with it, the freedom to heal and move forward. The office felt different that morning. Lighter, yet charged. I glanced at the skyline, taking a deep breath. Everything was falling into place. Marcus called almost immediately. Morning, he said. You sound triumphant. I am, I replied, voice steady. It's been a long journey, but the pieces are aligning. Good. Status report. Emily's credibility is gone. She can't make decisions without scrutiny. Daniel's humbled, realizing she isn't trustworthy. I've regained respect, trust, and control. Even at the office, people watch me differently now. Perfect, Marcus said, a grin in his voice. You've turned the chaos into power. I smiled faintly. I did what I had to. Calm, strategic, patient. No rash moves. Alice met me later for coffee. You look different, she said, smiling. Stronger, more grounded. You've changed, and it shows. I've learned, I said. Pain teaches lessons if you let it. Trust, control, resilience. I built them all. She raised an eyebrow. And Emily? I paused, recalling the small glimpses of regret I had seen on her face. She's isolated now. She misjudged everything. I could confront her, humiliate her further, but it's unnecessary. Her downfall is already in motion. Alice nodded. It's hard to let go, even when it's deserved. But you've done it with grace. At work, subtle triumphs continued. Emily fumbled during a high-profile client call, and Daniel couldn't cover her mistakes this time. Their relationship fractured publicly, though quietly. Colleagues whispered, noting Emily's sudden vulnerability, her arrogance now her weakness. Lena approached me cautiously. Sir, she's visibly shaken. You've turned things around completely. I have, I admitted softly. It's not revenge, it's restoration. Control, dignity, composure. That's what counts. Later that evening, I ran into Daniel at a charity event. His usual confidence was gone, replaced by awkwardness and reflection. Hey, he said, voice tentative. I realized I was naive. About everything. Emily, she's not reliable. I told you, I said quietly. Trust must be earned. She wears a mask, Daniel. Always did. He nodded, swallowing hard. I guess I needed to see it firsthand. You did, I said. Lesson learned. Take it seriously. That night, I walked home alone, reflecting. The city lights shimmered like a new beginning. For the first time, I felt light, unburdened, in control, aware that I no longer needed Emily to define my happiness. When I arrived, Alice was waiting with a smile. How do you feel? She asked gently. Liberated, I said, setting down my coat. Strong, clear-headed. Everything has changed, yet feels right. I can see myself without the weight of betrayal pressing on me. She smiled knowingly. Good. You deserve that peace. Later, I met someone new, Clara. She was intelligent, kind, and entirely genuine. We spoke over coffee, laughter filling the air. You're different, she said softly. Confident, aware. It's refreshing. I've learned a lot, I admitted. About trust, about power, about resilience. About not letting others control my emotions or my life. I can tell, she said, smiling. And it's inspiring. I'm careful now, I said lightly, but open. I won't let my past dictate my future. Clara reached for my hand. Good, because the future looks promising. I nodded, feeling warmth I hadn't experienced in months. For the first time, hope felt tangible and not forced. Back home, I stood in front of the Christmas tree. The ornaments were different now, clean, new, symbolic of the life I had reclaimed. I gently placed a small gift from Clara beneath the tree. Marcus called one last time. How's everything? He asked. Balanced, I said quietly. Power restored, dignity intact. Emily's mistakes handled themselves. Daniel's humbled. My life is mine again. And I paused, smiling faintly. There's a new presence that makes it feel lighter. Hopeful. That's good to hear, Marcus said warmly. You've earned this. Enjoy it. I hung up and looked at the city through the window. Last year's chaos, betrayal, heartbreak. It all seemed distant now. I could feel the lessons etched into my mind, shaping me into someone stronger, more aware. Emily's downfall had been painful to watch, yet necessary. Daniel had learned humility. I had learned restraint, patience, and strategic thinking. And most importantly, I had rediscovered myself, my values, my passions, my control. Alice stopped by one evening. You're smiling more, she observed. Happier, I'd say. I am, I said, sipping my drink. Happiness isn't dependent on anyone else. It's in reclaiming yourself, in making peace with the past, in recognizing your own strength. Clara arrived shortly after, her presence calming and familiar. Mind if I stay? She asked, her voice soft. Not at all, I said, letting her sit beside me. It's peaceful. We sat in silence for a while, the glow of the Christmas lights casting warmth across the room. I felt closure not just from betrayal, but from all the tension, anger, and heartbreak that had dominated my life for months. You've come far, Clara said gently. From hurt to strength. From chaos to clarity. I have, I admitted, and it's liberating. I finally understand trust, power, and love, not as possessions, but as lessons and choices. She smiled, leaning slightly closer. And the future? The future, I said softly, is ours to shape. Carefully, wisely, and with the right people. For the first time, I felt the weight of the past lift entirely. Emily was no longer a shadow over my life. Daniel had faced reality, and I, finally, had peace, dignity, and the possibility of love again. The night outside was silent, snow beginning to fall lightly. Clara and I stood by the window, watching it shimmer in the streetlights. I whispered, "Last year's chaos feels like a distant memory. This feels like home." She smiled, resting her hand in mine. "It is home, and it's only the beginning." I exhaled, quietly letting the calm wash over me. The ornaments, the gifts, the lessons, they were all reminders of the past I had overcome. The fire of betrayal had transformed into the strength of renewal. For the first time in months, I felt whole. Not because someone returned, not because revenge was complete, but because I had reclaimed myself. The power, the dignity, the clarity, it was mine. And as the snow fell outside, quiet and soft, I realized something profound. I could face anything now because I had learned to trust in myself, in my choices, and in the hope of what could come next.